During this year of the Eucharist, this next story is a timely reminder of Christ's real presence in the Eucharist, which we will commemorate on Holy Thursday. A 15-year-old Italian boy is on his way to sainthood for his research and online exhibit of Eucharistic miracles. Many of those miracles could be seen in a traveling exhibit that came to Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Westfield last week. Steve Kiltonic has this report.
By all accounts, Carlo Acutis was a normal, happy boy who loved playing soccer, video games, and was a natural jokester. But he also had a very spiritual side. Carlo attended Mass every day, prayed the Rosary every day, and went to adoration for hours on end. Acutis also had a great devotion to the Eucharist, often commenting that the Eucharist was his highway to heaven. His devotion inspired him to create an online Eucharistic miracles exhibit as a teenager.
And he really considered Jesus just his best friend. And he wanted to share that joy of Christ in the Eucharist with other people.
In March, Eileen Wood of Tewksbury brought the Vatican International Exhibit of Eucharistic Miracles to Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Westfield. Wood gave a talk on Blessed Carlo Acutis and displayed the exhibit in the parish center for 5 days as part of its 2020 Lenten series of talks on the Eucharist. 11 years ago, Wood was looking for a way to celebrate the 50th-year anniversary of her parish when she stumbled upon the exhibit at a church in Ohio while attending her daughter's college graduation. When Wood found out that the exhibit's creator was a young boy from Milan, Italy, she became fascinated by his story.
Well, he was actually a bit of a computer geek. When he was like 8 or 9, he got a university-level book on computers. He taught himself computer programming.
Carlo saw that priests in his native country weren't celebrating Mass as reverently as they should have, and wondered why soccer stadiums were filled to capacity while churches were empty. He wanted to change that. At age 11, Acutis started to investigate Eucharistic miracles that have occurred throughout history. For 3 years, he researched and took pictures of churches that bore witness to the miracles. Armed with his savvy computer skills, Acutis devised an entire photographic website that traced the history. The website eventually led to the Eucharistic Miracles exhibit. Anyone can download the entire online exhibit, but Wood duplicated it on a high-speed printer. It took many rolls and lots of ink, but Wood printed all of the 187 color posters, while her husband Chris built the 32 wooden stands. For the past decade, Wood, along with Chris and Joe Fazio, has been on the road traveling with the exhibit, setting it up and lending it to parishes and chapels across New England. The last time the exhibit appeared in the Springfield Diocese was 3 years ago at St. Elizabeth of Hungary Parish in North Adams. The 150 documented miracles have occurred in over 20 countries, mainly in Europe. Italy has the most, 29, followed by France and Spain, also in double figures. Some countries like Portugal, India, Colombia, and Croatia have just one miracle, like the tiny Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean. The miracles are for all different reasons.
Sometimes it's because somebody doubted. Sometimes because somebody did something, sinful or whatever. There's different. Other times it had nothing to do with that. There was a tsunami, right? And God protected the people. They brought the Eucharist out and it stopped the waves from coming. Other times it would be some kind of healing for somebody.
A recent Pew study found that many Catholics believe the Eucharist is symbolic. Acutis hoped that by educating people, they would believe that Jesus is present, body and blood, in the Eucharist.
The host, it does look like bread, and it does taste like bread. In the chalice, right, it looks like wine. It tastes like wine. So God knows that we need sometimes a little bit of extra to help our faith along.
There are also stories of people who have lived for years on the Eucharist alone, and various saints over the ages who have experienced Eucharistic miracles. Animals also recognize Jesus' presence in the Eucharist. St. Anthony challenged a non-believer, saying his starving mule would choose the Eucharist before real food.
And the animal, even though he's starving, he's weak, he can barely walk, he bypasses the food and he went over and he knelt down before the Blessed Sacrament. So even animals are recognizing the truth of it.
One of the most documented miracles occurred in Lanciano, Italy in 750 A.D. A monk had doubts about the presence of Christ in the Eucharist and prayed for guidance. At the moment of consecration, the host turned into living heart tissue and the wine into physical blood. The blood coagulated into 5 drops, but when weighed,
if you take any 1 drop against any 4 drops, they always balance out. If you take any 2 drops against any 3 drops, they always balance out. It doesn't matter what combination. Well, how is that possible? Miraculously, I guess, each drop of blood is fully Christ, body, blood, and soul, and divinity.
After centuries of being on display in the church and exposed to the elements, Host samples were examined scientifically in the 1970s. It was discovered that the sample was human heart tissue. The blood type was AB, like that found on the Shroud of Turin, and the blood, when liquefied, retains the chemical properties of freshly shed blood. All the miracles are documented by the local bishop and approved by the Vatican. The exhibit was virtually shut down during the pandemic.
And it has been out, but not that much as I'd like over the first 10 years. In the last 6 months, it's been out like nonstop. It's just, it lives in my van. A lot of it, I think, is partly because of Cardinal Sean declaring the year of the Eucharist, but also because Blessed Carlo was beatified, and people are starting to know who he is.
Carlo Acutis was only 15 and a half when he died in 2006 after a 2-week bout with leukemia. On October 10, 2020, Acutis became the first millennial to be beatified by Pope Francis.
Carlo Acutis is very much a role model for young people today. When you look at him and you see pictures of him as a young person, he dresses like our youth today. He very much looks and acts like them, and I think our youth need good role models.
Wood plans to update the exhibit with 28 new posters to reflect more recent miracles. A Spanish version will be available soon. Wood, who works full-time in the family business, plans to keep showing the exhibit in as many places as she has time for. Worldwide, the exhibit has appeared in more than 10,000 parishes.
But I just feel like this is like the ministry that God's calling us to do. I think it's really important, because if people had a greater devotion to the Blessed Sacrament, it would change their life.
Wood, who hopes ultimately the exhibit will deepen people's faith, simply goes where the Holy Spirit leads. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
Wood is also in the process of trying to obtain a first-class relic of Blessed Carlo Acutis, which would be on display in future exhibits.